Hey friends, welcome to the ToolScouter shop. We've got another project here that I wanted to share with you and I'm looking forward to it. Let me bring you down here on the bench and let's take a closer look. Here's what I've got for us. This nice little chisel. Let's take a quick look here and see just how it's 1 inch and 1/8 that we've got going there. So let's get this chisel cleaned up. Show you a few things here on it. This here should be familiar to us if you've been with the channel for a while. There was a couple of other chisels I've had like this, and somebody told me that's a B for butcher, but that the arrows could be from England, and that is an iron cross. And then here it says W butcher and cast steel. Somebody commented when I showed this on my flea market haul that cast steel back before, what did they say, something like 1904, 1905, before that, back in the 1800s, cast steel was the term that they used for tool steel. And so this is supposed to be a very good quality tool. You can see how messed up it is. Somebody put a hollow grind on this and then tried to put, and I don't mind having that hollow grind, you just have to have a nice even edge there on the front. So we'll see what we end up with there, but the back here is all pitted and kind of a mess, so we need to clean that up. And then I don't like the handle. I want to see if we can't change out that handle, and I would really like to match it to the other one that I made. This handle here was one that I made previously, and I want to try to make another one like it. This is ash, and I burned it, and this is another butcher cast steel. So I thought it would be fun. I think this one's a 2-inch chisel. So I thought it'd be fun to duplicate this handle, maybe a little bit smaller on this chisel, and turn it into a real nice tool. Well, it threads on. What do you know? That's not the right way to do that, but we can hide all that inside the handle. Interesting. Well, friends, I have a confession to make, and that is that I have offended my fair share of people in the past. On one occasion, I called a pipe fitter a plumber, and he, in no uncertain terms, let me know he was not a plumber, he was a pipe fitter. On another occasion, I called a cabinet maker a carpenter, and they as well let me know they were not a carpenter, they were a cabinet maker. Now, I say all of that to say this: I'm all in favor of being proud of what you do. I believe it is great to work with our hands and to be able to produce something. Productivity is, I think, what makes a society great. It what moves in an economy. I think it brings purpose to you, the individual. I think it brings honor to society. And I think working with our hands and producing something also brings honor and glory to the Lord. So I am not wanting to criticize or put down anybody who is proud of what they do. Good for you. I hope you keep doing that. But again, I say all this to say that I don't think we should be such elitist and say that there's only one way to do things. Today I want to show you how to reprofile this nice little chisel. I had a viewer contact me and ask me how I profile the chisels, because I presume he's older. He didn't have the strength in his shoulders and his arms to be able to work with a stone and be able to keep everything in the right position. And so he reached out to me, says, how do you do your chisels? And I can understand that, and it's the cabinet maker that says this chisel should never touch a motorized grinder. And once it is properly profiled, I agree with that. Once you have everything set just the way it's supposed to be, you should be able to maintain that chisel for years just by hand on a stone. I am beginning to invest in some of these steel plates, and with the diamond plates, I should say, and we'll be doing a video on those in the future. And you should be able to keep your chisels good and hair popping sharp just with the diamond plates or with a stone. So I agree, I understand that part of it. But today we're going to reprofile this. I want to bring you down here a little bit closer to show you the condition of this chisel so that you can see what it is that we're doing. All right, you can see this chisel has some blemishes. I don't know if you can, yeah, there you should be able to make out. It's been hollow ground and then it's been flat ground. It is sharp, but you can see it's not straight all the way across there. There's a little bit, it's a little high right there. So that needs to be taken care of. And you can see all the blemishes on it. On the back here, there's a lot of pitting. We need to take care of that pitting. I don't know if I'm gonna take all the pitting out. I know someone who would do some people would say the only proper way to do this is to take all the pitting out. I try to get all of the edges on both sides so that there's no pitting right there, and then this front leading edge, no pitting. I know the Japanese chisels actually are concaved right here, so if that flattens out when we're redressing this, then that's fine. But my main concern are the edges and this front leading edge. So we'll get this as best we can and put it together. Now, the one thing that I will be looking at how to do this properly so that you don't burn your metal. The last thing you want to do is take the temper out. So the one thing I do is always or never use gloves. Always have your bare hand down there as close as you can to your grind, actually like this. And when your finger starts to burn, the metal's not too hot, it's just too hot for you, and that's just kind of an indication for me that we need to dunk it. And I always have some water next to where I'm grinding so that I can dip that in the water. And because of the surface tension of water, there will be a little bead that forms across that front edge, and that will begin to bubble as you hold it to the grinder. And as long as there's water on that front edge, it's not going to burn or get too hot. Once it's almost gone, you stop and dunk it again, and just keep that front edge saturated with a bead of water, and you should be able to profile your chisels properly and get them to the place where you'll never need to put them to a machine again. So the first thing I want to do is to profile this back, and we'll do that here on the grinder right here. And you'll keep no gloves on your hands, keep pressure, even pressure down, and just keep pulling it back like that as it's running. And when it gets too warm to touch, we dunk it in our solution here. Now I want you to notice how we can keep this little bead of water here on the front, and you'll notice that when I guess it shouldn't be on that side, this little bead of water across the front right here when we're doing this back side of this edge. Let me show you what we do here to figure that out. We want is this edge to be 25 degrees, this grind, 25 to 27 and a half, I should say, somewhere within there. And it looks like this is going to work out perfectly, because this stop right here, if I put the haft right there on that and take it down, it looks like it's going to give us a perfect grind. So that can be my gauge right there. Usually on a larger chisel, when it's up here like this or something, I will put a clamp on here or put a piece of tape to indicate where that should go, and sometimes I'll use my finger to set that so we get it the same place every time. But this one should be pretty easy and straightforward. Alright, should be able to see, I can feel a little burr all the way across there. And you can see got a nice right angle across the top of that. So we've got a really nice edge. I am investing in some of these diamond plates, but I do not have the water for them, the fluid, the lapping fluid for them. So I'm going to use on this one, because not everybody's going to have diamond plates, I'm going to use the stones that we normally do. And once you get it to this point, it shouldn't take too much now on the stones. So here's my Japanese stone, and I'm going to soak it and get that 2000 grit nice and wet, and we'll start with that, and then we'll give it the final dress up on the 6000 grit. So let's go ahead and get this thing soaking so we've got some water on it. Now for most of us, this is going to do just fine as far as what we need for sharpness. If you want to take it to cabinet grade level, then you can get the 1200 grit diamond plate and really work it down, but this here is what we're going to use for this. What I'm looking for is a little bit of polish around this front edge and the sides right here. Just kind of get this polished up, but particularly that front edge. So you just lay it flat and move it back and forth. You'll start to see some discoloration in the water, and that's little particles of metal coming off. I am not pushing down in the back, I'm putting all the pressure in the middle and the front. Some will even take and do it sideways like this. Whichever is comfortable. And what's neat is as this gets polished down and gets dressed up, it will actually start to stick to your stone because it is becoming the same it's just becoming flat and making better connection with your stone. I like to switch it up so that we keep both sides going evenly. Again, no pressure in the back, all the pressure in the middle, and particularly the front. My middle finger there is what's giving most of the pressure. And you can see, hopefully you can see there, where we've got a polish that's going here right down the middle. We've got it all across the front, but I want to go a little bit further and try to get this whole front edge looking almost the same. You're not going to get any heat on this. That water's going to keep it nice and cool. Oh, that's looking good. All across this whole part right here, this whole inch back It's almost exactly the same. You need a little bit more work right there. Now we're going to go with the 6000 grit. We're going to touch up the back here. Now we're going to do this front edge here. So now we're going to take and we're going to put this down here, and then we'll put pressure up, and you can see when the water pushes out. I don't know if you can see it from the camera's perspective, from my perspective, I can see the water push out the front. Once it pushes out the front, that's my angle, and I push forward. You should be getting a nice little polish right along that front edge there. And we have a nice little burr all across the back side here. So I'm going to push that burr the other side, and then we'll go back here. Okay, that burr is gone. That burr, I shouldn't say gone, it's just been pushed to the other side. Now we're ready to push that water. You can see the water push out in front, and we just shove that forward. Just polish that front edge. With a little bit of practice, you'll start to feel where it's hitting and where it's not, if it's laying flat or not. Hopefully you can see there's a nice little polish all across that front edge. And I can feel that burr is even smaller now. Now we're going to go with the strop. This has, like I said, a really fine burr on the back here. I want to take that burr off. I want to lay this perfectly flat and draw it across the strop. The strop has a compound, a lapping compound that has been rubbed on there. You can get different grits of that compound, but right now this is the finest compound, the finest grit, and I take that burr and push it back over to the front, and this will polish the back of that chisel. And then I want to turn this over, and with all my upper body weight, just set this down on there and pull it about 25 to 30 times. You don't have to keep it perfectly straight. You can rock it. You just got to you don't want to get it up too high, because you don't want to take off that edge. You want to keep it down. Just keep that edge, that front edge, that leading edge, right in tight against that, and it should give you a really nice polished edge. Once you're done there, pull back one more time. Hopefully you can see there in the light that nice polished edge right there. You see that shine all across there. That's beautiful. You see that little polish across there? It just makes me smile. Let's go make a handle for it. Just look at that beautiful little chisel. Turned out so nice. Look at that, you see that sharp edge there. The reflection of that mirror finish on that edge. Turned out wonderfully. See here at the bottom, we got all of this very nice and flat and dressed up so well. Edges are nice and we're good. You can get a good view there of the markings. That B at the bottom it's a B, stands for butcher, with the arrow. From what I understand, some people say it's English, from England, with the iron cross. And there you have WB, butcher cast steel. Somebody made mention that cast steel was the term that was used before the 1900s, or at least 1902 or 3, something like that, for tool steel. And so when you saw cast steel, that meant it was a quality tool steel. So this is really nice. That is so smooth. I mean, you wouldn't even need to sand that. That's nice. Now, if you remember the other butcher chisel we did, turned out really nice. And here we have kind of tried to go for a matching set. And you can see this one here is 1 1/8 inches. This one I think was a full 2 inches. Yep, 2 inches. And so who knows, we may even pick up some more in some other hunts around the flea markets and things, but I'm very happy with the way this one turned out for this project here. Well, everybody, another fun little project here in the shop. Beautiful little tool given new life. I am very pleased with how it turned out. Hope you enjoyed it. We have a place over here on the wall for it, so let's go ahead and put it up here. And there we go. Thanks so much for joining me here and being a part of the show. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't take your time for granted, and hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you know somebody else that might enjoy this content, please share this with them, the link with them. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We're always looking to grow the channel, and it's great to have you stop by. Hit the bell notification every time we put up a video. You'll be notified of that video. So guys, here's to you. Have a great day. God bless.